Meghalaya firm on its 1 week per month shutdown decision on entry points. Mizoram lifts 8-day complete lockdown. Six-member central team to visit Assam tomorrow to assess flood damages. State seeks more than 2,000 crore rupees as relief. COVID-19 recovery rate improves close to 76%. Fatality rate continues to decline, stands now at 1.84%. Nagaland Governor R.N. Ravi meets Donor Minister Jitendra Singh in New Delhi, discusses ongoing developmental projects in state. And Assam Higher Secondary Education Council to reduce 30% syllabus for current year due to COVID-19 pandemic. Good evening viewers, welcome to the Northeast News Bulletin. This is Jolly Khoikia Gogoi with the news in detail. In news from Northeast first, the Meghalaya government has reaffirmed its earlier decision to shut down all entry points to the state every first week from September till November. Deputy Chief Minister Preston Tingsong has said the decision taken by the state government to close down entry points every first week for 3 months from the next month will continue. He reasoned that the closure is needed not only to give a break to health workers but also to disinfect these entry points. However, exceptions will be allowed for transportation of essential commodities and transit movement from Assam via Meghalaya. Tingsong said local authorities should not ask people who move inter-district to be quarantined if the concerned persons have followed all health protocols. On the other hand, Mizoram government on Monday lifted the 8-day complete lockdown in the Aizawl municipal area to contain the spread of novel coronavirus and restrictions on movement of goods carrying vehicles. The government said interstate movement of vehicles carrying non-essential commodities will be resumed. So far, Mizoram has reported 953 COVID-19 cases, of whom 461 people have recovered. In a related development in Assam, the Kachar district administration has issued an order with directives calling for stricter restrictions which will be effective across the district for 9 days from 5 a.m. of August 27 to 12 midnight of September 4. The decision was taken after Chief Secretary Kumar Sanjay Krishna gave a green signal to the measures to be put in place by the district disaster management authorities of the 3 districts of Kachar, Karimganj and Hailakandi to prevent further spread of COVID-19 cases across Barak Valley, endangering the lives of citizens. All government offices and establishments, including banks and post offices, will be allowed to function as usual following COVID-19 protocols.
It is a tough decision, but it has been taken because of the rising number of symptomatic cases. So we needed to cut the chain of transmission.
So, ma'am,
our teams, our bed capacity to increase. A lot of people are feeling breathless. So oxygen cylinders and the oxygen capacity, all of that we are going to be focusing in this period of lockdown. Of course, there are mixed reviews, but corona has been a unprecedented disease. So we are going with what is the easiest solution right now, and which is what is we are focusing on the ICU capacity at SMCH.
In more news from Assam, a 6-member central team will reach Assam tomorrow to assess the flood situation. 3 waves of floods affected lakhs of people this year in the state. Commissioner Secretary in Revenue Department M.S. Manivannan has informed that the team will visit the affected areas. He said the Assam government has already sent an interim flood damage report to the centre and has sought around 2,300 crore rupees as compensation.
আৰু আমাৰ যোৱা বানপানীত হোৱা ডেমেজবিলাক ফ্লাড ডেমেজবিলাক আছেছ কৰিবৰ কাৰণে আৰু এই টিমটো বিভিন্ন জিলাত ভিজিট কৰি তাত হোৱা ডেমেজখিনি আছেছ কৰি গভৰ্ণমেণ্ট অফ ইণ্ডিয়াক ৰিপৰ্টটো সাবমিট কৰিব ইতিমধ্যে যোৱা বানপানীত হোৱা ডেমেজৰ আছেছমেণ্ট ওপৰত এটা ইণ্টাৰিম ফ্লাড মেমৰেণ্ডাম আমি গভৰ্ণমেণ্ট অফ ইণ্ডিয়াক সাবমিট কৰিছোঁ আৰু এই মেমৰেণ্ডামৰ ওপৰতো কথা আলোচনা হ'ব আৰু বিভিন্ন ডিপাৰ্টমেণ্টৰ লগত অহাকালি তেওঁলোকে ৰিভিউ কৰিব তাৰপিছত ফিল্ড ভিজিট কৰি ৰাজ্যৰ সমস্যাখিনি নিজে চাই পেলাই এটা প্ৰতিবেদন এটা দাখিল কৰিব এই প্ৰতিবেদনৰ ওপৰত আমাৰ ফাইনেল মেমৰেণ্ডাম আমি সাবমিট কৰাৰ পিছত গভৰ্ণমেণ্ট অফ ইণ্ডিয়া আমাক কি ফাণ্ডটো ৰিলিজ কৰিব হেতুৰ ওপৰত আলোচনা কৰিব পাৰে
The recovery rate of COVID-19 patients continues its upward streak and has reached around 76% today. Over 24 lakh people in the country have already recovered from COVID-19. India registered a record number of recoveries of over 66,000 patients in the last 24 hours. The number of recovered patients as on date in the country is 3.41 times the number of active cases. There has been more than 100% hike in the recoveries in the last 25 days. The case fatality rate also continues to show a steady decline, which now stands at 1.84%. Nearly 30 states and union territories have even lower fatality rate than the national average. The Health Ministry said that over 60,000 new cases of COVID-19 have been registered in the country in the last 24 hours, taking the total number of cases to 31,71,942. In a single day, 848 deaths have also been reported, taking the toll to 58,570. The number of corona positive patients in Arunachal Pradesh rose to 3,312, among whom 2,427 people have recovered and 5 people have lost their lives. In Manipur, the number rose to 5,362, of whom 3,714 have recovered and 22 have fallen to the disease. In Meghalaya, the number rose to 1,994, of whom 799 have recovered. Mizoram counted a total of 953 corona positive cases, among whom 461 have recovered. Nagaland counted a total number of 3,714 with 2,396 recoveries, whereas 1,446 people were positive in Sikkim with 934 recoveries. In Tripura, 9,195 people were found positive with 6,441 recoveries. In Assam, Health and Family Welfare Minister Dr. Hemanta Biswa Sarma in a tweet said the total number of active COVID-19 patients in the state now stands at 21,464, whereas 70,900 patients have been discharged so far. In the last 24 hours of 28,670 tested samples, 1,879 samples were positive. The positivity rate has reached 6.55%. The death toll has gone up to 252. The novel coronavirus has affected 2,38,31,704 people across the globe till date. The death toll rose to 8,17,429 and 1,63,73,819 people have recovered till date. USA counted a total case of 59,15,911. Brazil followed next with a total of 36,27,217 COVID-19 cases, and Russia had 9,66,189 cases. The World Health Organization has cautioned that using blood plasma from COVID-19 survivors to treat other patients is still considered an experimental therapy. The United Nations agency today said preliminary study results are inconclusive and more rigorous research is underway. On Monday, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration authorized what's called emergency use of the treatment under its special powers to speed the availability of promising experimental drugs, whose chief scientist, Dr. Soumya Swaminathan, during a press briefing said that so far the results are not conclusive. At the moment, it is still very low quality evidence. Convalescent plasma is a century-old treatment that was used to fight off flu and measles outbreaks in the days before vaccines and was tried more recently during the Ebola outbreak. Nagaland Governor R.N. Ravi called on Donor Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh in New Delhi on Monday and discussed about the progress of developmental projects in the state. Dr. Jitendra Singh reiterated that soon after the Modi government took over in 2014, the Prime Minister had stated that every effort would be made to bring the northeastern region at par with the more developed regions of the country. In the last 6 years, not only developmental gaps were bridged successfully, but the region has also gained confidence. He said Dr. Singh underlined that all sections of the society are ready to move ahead under Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Assam Higher Secondary Education Council has decided to reduce 30% of syllabus for the current academic year due to COVID-19 pandemic. Sources said the notification in this regard will be issued soon. The decision was taken at a recent meeting of the Council's academic committee. The decision will be implemented for the students of 11th and 12th classes in arts, commerce and science streams with certain conditions. The Education Department has set up a task force which will decide on reopening of educational institutions. The Assam government is mulling to resume classes from the 1st of next month, subject to the approval of the centre. Talking to DD News, AHSEC Chairman Dr. Dayananda Borgohai said subjects with greater relevance will be given preference in the curriculum.
বৰ্তমান ইয়াৰ এটা বেলেগ ধৰণৰ অৱস্থালৈ আহি আছে এটা বেলেগ কথা কিন্তু সমগ্ৰ ভাৰতবৰ্ষৰ বাকি পৃথিৱীৰ বাকি দেশৰো স্বাভাৱিক জনজীৱন সম্পূৰ্ণৰূপে অচল হৈ যোৱাটো আমি দেখিবলৈ পালো অসমত যোৱা মাৰ্চ মাহৰ পৰা মাৰ্চ মাহৰ 3rd উইকৰ পৰা টোটেল বন্ধ হৈ থকাৰ নিচিনা হৈছে এতিয়া মাজে মাজে খুলিছে মাজে মাজে বন্ধ হৈছে এই ক্ষেত্ৰত আটাইতকৈ বেছি ক্ষতিগ্ৰস্ত হৈছে ছাত্ৰ ছাত্ৰীসকল আমাৰ 11 12 ক্লাছৰ ছাত্ৰ ছাত্ৰীসকলটো অলপ বয়স হোৱা ছাত্ৰ ছাত্ৰী তেওঁলোকে আমি যেটো পদ্ধতিতে এটা শিক্ষা দি আছো অনলাইন টেলিভিছনৰ যোগেদি হওক দূৰদৰ্শনৰ যোগেদি হওক ৰেডিঅ'ৰ যোগেদি হওক এই আটাইবোৰ কৰাৰ পিছতো আমি ভাবো যে শতকৰা 70 ভাগতকৈ বেছি ছাত্ৰ ছাত্ৰী উপকৃত হোৱা নাই
In Assam, in a bid to give a boost to the Atmanirbhar Bharat mission, a handicraft production center was inaugurated in Guwahati today by Assam Apex Weavers and Artisans Cooperative Federation Limited, ArtFed. Managing Director ArtFed Mukul Chandradeka said bamboo and cane-based local items will be produced at the center. Deka said that during the lockdown period, the weavers under the ArtFed produced 13,000 pieces of bed sheets and pillow covers for the National Health Mission. The Assam government has already set up yarn banks across the state so that weavers could get yarn at a subsidized rate. He said a proposal has been sent to the state government to establish a cloth bank at Hualkusi. The Union Ministry of Finance on Monday said businesses with an annual turnover of up to 40 lakh rupees are GST exempt. Initially, this limit was 20 lakh rupees. In a tweet, the Finance Ministry said that additionally those with a turnover up to 1.5 crore rupees can opt for the composition scheme and pay only 1% tax. It said once GST was implemented, the tax rate on a large number of items was brought down. As of now, the 28% rate is almost solely restricted to luxury items. Out of a total of about 230 items in the 28% slab, about 200 items have been shifted to lower slabs. The ministry also informed that significant reliefs have been extended to the construction sector, particularly the housing sector, which has been placed at the 5% tax rate. GST on affordable housing has been reduced to 1%. Now, before we end the news, the headlines once again. Meghalaya firm on its 1 week per month shutdown decision of entry points. Mizoram lifts 8-day complete lockdown. 6-member central team to visit Assam tomorrow to assess flood damages. State seeks more than 2,000 crore rupees as relief. COVID-19 recovery rate improves close to 76%. Fatality rate continues to decline, stands now at 1.84%. Nagaland Governor R.N. Ravi meets Donor Minister Jitendra Singh in New Delhi, discusses ongoing developmental projects in state. And Assam Higher Secondary Education Council to reduce 30% syllabus for current year due to COVID-19 pandemic. And that brings us to the end of this evening's bulletin. Thank you for tuning in. Namaskar.